I will be governor of a state where freedom and free enterprise, where individual prosperity are staples of our society. All of this begins with government being right-sized. We've seen the devastation of big government policies. Policies that have robbed taxpayers of their money and destroyed economic opportunity in areas that once were thriving. 50 years ago, for example, Detroit was described in terms that sound much like Texas cities today. Detroit was one of the fastest growing, most prosperous cities in America. It was attracting workers from around the country. But after an era of big government policies and increased spending, Detroit hit a downward spiral and now has filed for bankruptcy. We're seeing the same poor policy choices begin to choke off opportunity in America as well. 25 years ago, America's debt was just over $2 trillion. Today, these children are inheritors of $17 trillion in debt. That's well over $55,000 per man, woman, and child in America. And in fact, America is more in debt per person than the country of Greece. But once again, unrestrained growth of government is the cause of these problems. And workers, jobs, and take-home pay are the victims of these government expansionary programs. Well, today, as I pointed out, Texas is one of the leading economies in the entire globe. But even we're beginning to see warning signs of problems here in Texas. Unemployment still remains above where it was before the recession, and that's especially true in the Rio Grande Valley, where unemployment is way too high, and you have too few people still looking for work. Last month, the Tax Foundation downgraded Texas's status out of the top 10 states in the country. And the truth is, the size of our government has grown faster than our population. And our local debt load, get this, our local debt load is the second highest among the populous states in this country, ranking us only slightly above the state of New York, with California even being situated better than Texas in this category. So we're beginning to see cracks in our economic foundation, cracks that could lead to serious damage for taxpayers if the right policy choices are not made in the upcoming legislative sessions. Well, to keep Texas on the right track, we must never forget that you know better how to spend your money than do bureaucrats in Austin or Washington, D.C. And to help you keep more of your money, government must be restrained in taking your money. And I have a plan to do that. My plan has a basic premise: control the growth of government in order to grow the economy and to grow jobs. I offer you today 8 fiscal reforms that will constrain the size of government, that will stimulate the private sector to create more jobs, and will let Texans keep more of your money. First, to protect taxpayers from the harsh effects of government growing too big, we need a constitutional amendment that limits the growth of the state budget to population growth plus inflation. Even with this tighter spending limit, the state will still be able to provide necessary services because the budget will keep up with population growth and the rising cost of goods and services. Second, to further keep spending under control, the governor must be provided expanded veto authorization. I'm willing to take on the risk of making the difficult decisions to reduce government spending when at times the legislature may not be able to do so. But to do that, The governor needs the additional authority to make prudent and sensible spending reductions to protect the benefits for our future generations. Now, even with these new constitutional protections against excessive spending, more tools are needed to ensure that Texas remains economically sound. One of those tools is better protection of the state's rainy day fund. The rainy day fund is our savings account here in Texas. It's intended to protect our economic future. To do that, we need more safeguards to protect that savings account from being raided. Currently, the legislature is authorized to tap the rainy day fund at any time and for any purpose. And we've seen a troubling trend of using the rainy day fund